think we just need to take a step back, collectively, but let's just not hit the panic button yet. All right, Cowboys collective here. I wanted to jump on here for the last few days, but I really wanted to think about how I wanted to go about this. I wanted to jump on and I wanted to do some analysis of the Hall of Fame game, but as I started seeing all the reactions to the game from different fans, I think the last thing we need is more analysis of this game. I think we're getting to a point where we're overanalyzing things and fans are already hitting the panic button. So I just wanted to take a step back and not necessarily dive into the game, but I just want to talk about some of the overreactions that have come out of the game. So the first overreaction is obviously I've been seeing out there on different groups, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything. People are calling for the Cowboys to get a new kicker. Look, we have a kicker. His name is Greg Zuerlein. Greg the Leg. We don't need a kicker because our kicker wasn't even playing in the game. I get it. We saw some kicks go wide right and, we didn't put up the points. And I think it stems from a couple things, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys rivalry goes way back and there's a lot of hatred. And I think because of that rivalry and the fact that we've been without football for so long, we're putting this meaningless Hall of Fame game, which is, for us, it's just what it really means. It's just another preseason game, despite all the off the field activities and being able to be that lead up into the ceremony. It has no weight in terms of what we're gonna do when it comes to trying to win a Super Bowl this season. So we need to just step back and put the rivalry aside for a minute and just think about what this game means, because people are calling for a new kicker, yet don't realize that was Hunter Nicewander out there kicking. He's not a kicker, he's a punter. So this isn't even in his realm of responsibilities normally. So I think we're just overreacting there. And the reason he's out there is because our actual kicker, Greg Zuerlein, underwent a back procedure in the offseason. So why would we put our actual kicker at risk in this additional preseason game that has no weight on the regular season or playoff implications? So let's just settle down there. We don't need a kicker. The other overreaction too is we need a new backup quarterback. And you know what? We very well may need a new backup quarterback. I don't think Garrett Gilbert played as bad as people are making him out to be. He had a couple good drives where he moved the ball. Yes, we got into the red zone and fizzled out. Did he hold the ball too long on a couple of those plays? Absolutely. And you know what? It's his first meaningful game since we played the Steelers last year. And, even himself, he said he just needs to shake the rust off. But we can't call for a new QB just like that, right? There's not that many free agent options out there, right? The only guys I can think of that are out there that would even be worth kicking the tires on are RG3 or Blake Bortles. And neither of those guys would provide a significant upgrade to Garrett Gilbert, if anything at all. The reality is, if we're going to target a new quarterback, it's not going to happen right now. So let's just chill out. We got to wait till there's roster reductions and maybe some better players become available and we can make a new move for a backup quarterback. But at this point to do so, it's just pointless. It's like we're forgetting the whole concept of what camp bodies are, right? We need to have these guys that aren't going to be starting quarterbacks in the league just to take those reps away, right? That's how we ended up in a situation by putting Dak in a scenario where he's heaving, 70-yard passes to replicate Hail Marys or punts or whatever it was they had, and he ended up pulling his lat. So we need to chill out on the kicker and the QB, right? It's only been one preseason game that didn't mean anything. We didn't even have half our starters playing. So let me know, what do you think? Do you think the Cowboys should go out and grab a new quarterback right now, or do you think they should wait till the roster reductions? Personally, I think the roster reductions, that's just me, because I think we'll likely find better talent then. I don't think any of the guys provide a significant upgrade. But let's get into some of the positives of the game. It was a 3-16 loss, and I hate losing to the Steelers. As much as I hate losing, I think just when it happens against a rival, it makes it worse, despite it being the Hall of Fame game. Whatever. Let's move on and get ready for the Cardinals Friday. But I thought Rico Dowdle had a nice game. Put up 5.4 yards average per carry. He had that nice catch over the middle that set him up nicely in the red zone, but obviously we didn't capitalize. I thought Sean McEwen had a good game, had a couple nice catches there. And, we've been talking about, the tight end spot in regards to, Blake Jarwin coming back from injury and, Dalton Schultz coming in and really elevating his game last year and seems to have taken his game to another level next year. But we haven't looked at that third spot, and I think Sean McEwen is vying for it. So when I mean third spot, last year Cowboys had Blake Bell on the roster, and he kind of filled in on a lot of those fullback duties as well. So if Sean McEwen can round out his game and impress with the run blocking, I could see them using him in that Blake Bell kind of package where he does come in as a fullback. And to add on to that, the guy who was probably the leading candidate to be a fullback on this roster, Shewo Alanalua, he actually suffered a neck injury, and I'm not sure how much time he's going to miss due to that. So it looks like there could be an opening for McEwen there. Let me know what you think. Do you think McEwen makes the roster, or do you think he's going to spend another year on the practice squad? Leave a comment, let me know. I got to talk about Malik Turner. Obviously put up some big receiving yards there, but it was a little inconsistent, right? He had some nice catches, but then also on that catch on 4th and 15, he ultimately fumbled and had a turnover. And yeah, it's just, you can't really be that inconsistent at that position group, right? Because wide receiver, we're stacked, right? So I think Malik Turner is, a guy that could definitely very well make the roster. But it's a hard position, right? Because I see they're probably going to carry, about 6 receivers, and we already know 1, 2, and 3 are locked up by Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup. So, yeah, I think he performed well, but I think he just has to keep that consistency and not make those mistakes if he really wants a shot to make this roster. But that's all I'm going to touch on the Hall of Fame game. It was obviously a big weekend for Cowboys activities. They had the joint practice with the Rams. Obviously some big moments there. Kenny Young is an absolute punk. The way he threw the punch at Tony Pollard and then ran off, and what a coward, absolute coward move. I don't know if you guys saw it, but yeah, if you're going to throw it, at least stand your ground. Don't run away and let your coach hold the guy back. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, the teams don't meet in the regular season. Otherwise, it would be interesting to see how that one unfolded. But yeah, I think it was a good opportunity to go against the Rams. Obviously, we saw CeeDee Lamb doing CeeDee Lamb things and getting some big separation on Jalen Ramsey, who is regarded as one of the best corners in the league right now. We saw Morris Kennedy continue to have a strong camp. He's had all those interceptions since, filling in for Jordan Lewis in the slot for first-team reps when Lewis wasn't ready to go. And right now, Maurice Kennedy is, not only made the most of that opportunity in terms of training camp, but he's looked nice, and he came out with another pick against Matthew Stafford. So he's almost cementing himself into, if he continues this, I think he's cemented himself as with a role on this roster, not even just a spot on the roster, but I think Maurice Kennedy could very well be the starting nickel corner for the Cowboys this season. And that would make an interesting dilemma, right? Because, it seems year in, year out, it's Anthony Brown or Jordan Lewis who's going to take over duties for the nickel. But if Maurice Kennedy comes in and secures that spot, I think then one or two of those guys won't make the roster. So if this happens, who do you think the Cowboys cut? Do you think they cut Anthony Brown, or do you think they cut Jordan Lewis? And I'll give my opinion here. I think they would ultimately cut Jordan Lewis. And while I personally wouldn't make this decision myself, I would probably go the other way around. I think the Cowboys do that because for some reason, I just get the vibe that the coaching staff has more faith in Anthony Brown to cover the outside. We see reports all training camp that's saying that, Anthony Brown and Trayvon Diggs will be our starting outside corners. I think Kelvin Joseph is starting to make a name for himself in that starting outside corner position opposite Trayvon Diggs. So I think that's something to keep your eye on as we get through these next preseason games and training camp. But yeah, let me know what you think. So other things we got to touch on, of course, the Hall of Fame. We saw 3 more Cowboys added to the Hall of Fame as part of, the 2020 induction and the 2021. Obviously some absolute legends of those 70s teams, and Cliff Harris, Captain Crash out there getting in, and Drew Pearson. And I'm happy for Drew Pearson. It's been a long time coming. Drew Pearson is the guy who made, the 88 legacy what it is. He was the original 88 as far as that legacy goes, and for him to see a few guys kind of step into that mold and really be leaders for this team, I think it was just a great moment. Obviously he had that great acceptance speech into the Hall of Fame with the hut. So if anyone did get a chance to see it, I would recommend going to check out his speech. And then we got to acknowledge Jimmy Johnson, arguably one of the greatest coaches to coach the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not ready to die on either hill, whether it's Tom Landry or Jimmy Johnson. So I'm not gonna say the GOAT or not the GOAT. I'm just gonna say one of the greatest. And I would say it's been a strained relationship between Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, just to put it lightly. But it seems that they're starting to put that aside, and they seem to be getting along. I know they're on the panel the other day, and Jerry Jones mentioned that he will put Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor at some point, which, it's a long time coming. To see Jimmy Johnson get into the Hall of Fame before even being placed in the Ring of Honor, it's such a shame, but I'm glad that it's going to happen. Jerry Jones brought it up, and Jimmy Johnson, asked if it was going to be while he was alive or after he's dead, which pretty funny, but it just seems, that relationship after all this time is kind of healed, because these guys went to Arkansas together. Jerry Jones put Jimmy Johnson in a position to be an NFL head coach, and he really turned around a team that finished with the worst record in the league twice to going to back-to-back Super Bowls. Obviously in Cowboys Nation we always wondered that what if Jimmy Johnson had stuck around and Barry Switzer didn't come in to replace him, because obviously Barry Switzer ultimately won the 95 Super Bowl, but it was predominantly with Jimmy's team that was still intact. So we gotta wonder if Jimmy Johnson stuck around, would there be more Super Bowls? Like, personally, I think so. I think we could have won another 1 to 2 more if Jimmy Johnson stuck around. Obviously it became harder to retain guys, and I guess even when they won in 95, they didn't have quite the same depth on that roster that they did going into the 92 or 93. But yeah, let me know. Do you think if Jimmy Johnson stuck around, would they have won more? But that pretty much wraps it up for today. I'm sorry for the delay, but like I said, I didn't want to just jump in and provide a specific analysis. I just wanted to take the time just to figure out how to best address this, just because of all those overreactions. And I felt as a fan base as a whole, I think we've overanalyzed this game a little too much. So I think we just need to take a step back, collectively, and just, let's just watch this offseason unfold. I think we're going to see, a few guys step up. It's still early. We haven't seen, a lot of the guys play. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great season ahead, but let's just not hit the panic button yet. But that wraps it up for today's episode. We got some big things coming up. We got, Hard Knocks coming out this week. I can't wait. I know I'm going to be tuning into that. Then we got the Cardinals on Friday. So I'm just happy football's back, and I'm going to keep bringing you guys more content, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. So make sure you subscribe to see new stuff, and Cowboys Collective out.